I say we just go straight into this collective and see what's going on. Of course, we do the 1K collective when we get 1,000 people here. Make sure that you share this right now to help us. And thanks for all the support. And I just saw an 1111 donation. Thank you so much for that. Very much. Let's roll. See what's going on this week with the astrology.
All right.
Collectively, we're in a new moon week in Virgo. We're finishing this week of Virgo with a new moon trying Saturn. But this is a weird new moon. You know, a new moon, of course, is setting our new intention. And Virgo is about getting things straight. So, you know, it also is editing the things that we really enjoy in our life to make things better. And also it is where we harvest, right? We're in harvest season. We kind of are harvesting what we've gained through this year, what we've grown, what things are we going to pick off when we're harvesting. That's kind of like, I don't know, I've never harvested, but I'm sure Craig knows from harvesting plants in life. There's some plants and some stuff when you're harvesting that you chuck away, and then there's some that you're like, these are good. There's this kind of, what would you call that?
Well, you know, the worst kind is when you get some mold in there and you don't know necessarily that you have it. It might look pristine and beautiful on the outside, but when you get deep down into it, it's just fucked.
But then what do you call it when you're separating that? Like when you're like, this one is not worthy, and it kind of gets tossed into the trash.
Well, you know, there's top shelf, and then there's some mid grade and some low grade, and yeah.
Is there a term though of like we're gonna go?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. A's and B pile, pretty much. A's and B's. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, it doesn't mean that, like, you know, I think so in our love lives, if we're going to apply Virgo is getting to the reality of things, the reality check with a big trine to Saturn in Capricorn, making decisions, starting to see what's going to be implemented into our long-term goals. So there's a positive alignment, although it is squaring the nodes. Exactly, 25 Gemini, 25 South Node Sag. And so that brings up a lot of weird questions. While Saturn's asking for decisions, am I going into the south of like, let me just hope this will be good without, you know, the truth of the North Node in Gemini being like, no, this is the facts, this is stimulating, and this is a yes, all excited, very Gemini-like? Or are you playing the more Sag? Well, I hope it'll get better. Like, that's going to be what reality we don't want to step into, is that I hope it will get better. It's not that stimulating, but I'm hoping, or I have to do this, or I should do this. This is where Saturn's saying, no. Like destiny in quincunx with Saturn quincunxing the North Node still. No, we have to go off what's stimulating us, what makes us our greatest curiosity, and more importantly, our stimulation. We also have Venus in square to Uranus, so Venus in Leo, square Uranus in Taurus. This brings up definitely a lot of different worlds, and when we look at our relationships, we look at our love life, our happiness has to find and see that there's a lot of different weird energies within ourselves and other people that have different values and so forth, and those values are coming into conflict in a really weird way with Venus. Venus deals with values. Taurus is the ruler of Venus, although Venus is now squaring Uranus in Venus's house, Taurus. So, you know, Venus is in the sun's house, so Leo. And so, you know, we want to express ourselves, but also everybody has different values, and we have different, you know, worlds that we all are trying to intricate, you know, way to come together. So this kind of is, it also brings massive surprises. It also can bring massive kind of what the hell just happened, just out of nowhere, you know. So, you know, this is where, I don't know, it's kind of like where, you know, somebody can ghost you on a wedding, like you're about to get, you know, somebody gets cold feet real quick out of nowhere, like, I thought we were all good, and then the opposite is like, nothing's happening in my love life, and then bam, what the fuck, like out of nowhere. So, or it could be flopped, right? It could be like, I don't know, it could be, it's all over, and it's a gamble. There's a lot of gamble with this week. You also have to remember that this is a really interesting week as well, because we do have Mercury in Libra about relationships and communication, and it's making very hard aspects to Jupiter, very hard aspects to Pluto. The Sun is also trine Pluto this week. So there's a lot of change that has to happen. We're kind of at that point where it's like, that change has to happen with love. And with Mercury in Libra, it's going to be hard combos about trying to find the balance with Jupiter now direct, which I don't know if you felt that this weekend, Craig, like on Sunday, especially yesterday. It kind of felt like there was some hope back into the universe. I think a lot of people, including myself, almost kind of felt like everything was kind of like going just, what, is this going to go into a weird world in this way? And then, no, you know, it's like almost like we got.
Yeah, there was like a shift of almost feeling of like comfort, you know, of like being okay with where, you know, where I was, you know, at that moment. So I definitely felt a lighter shift, so to speak.
Yeah, so, but now Mercury square Jupiter is like, it's the ultimate question, especially with a new moon in Virgo. It likes to analyze a lot of things. So this is a very analytical week. And it's a week where we can get too lost in the head, I would say, where we have to kind of use Saturn and Pluto, which are kind of hardcore. They are hardcore. And they are hardcore, just like, no, this is the truth. This is all in, and this is the decision. And we have to use that Gemini North Node. And we have to use that Venus and Leo. Like, we know what our value of our heart really wants. We don't need to try and fix values that aren't there or try and repair situations that if you don't want to repair them and it doesn't make you happy, then you don't do that. So it's a very big toss-up week, I'll be honest with you. It's kind of like anybody's game, and who knows where things are really going to go. That's the irony in all this. But I think it's about not letting go of your true core of your reality that you want to have with love, and not sacrificing your core self just for love, you know.
I don't want to say what's up to Lauren. She's watching from South Africa.
Woo!
Good morning, Lauren.
Yeah, it is morning there, huh?
Yeah.
Hope it's a beautiful morning. They're almost out of their winter. So, about a week away.
There we go. Making
We got
moves.
the springtime coming. We got the fall coming here. So, let's see what the cards have to say for this week. I mean, there's a lot. There's even way more astrology. I cover it all, of course, on highvibe.tv on the exclusive membership where you get daily videos and weekly videos and so much more. First card that we got for this week for the collective is the Page of Swords in reverse. Oh, definitely a communication breakdown week. Ooh. Also means, you know, if you're expecting people to say something, they usually don't show up with it. You almost kind of have to instigate it yourself or bring it up, and it might be kind of uncomfortable. I think a lot of this has to do with that Mercury Libra making massive hard squares with Jupiter and Pluto. I would say that, you know, there's going to be some truth bombs that kind of are going to come up. It could expose things. Page of Swords definitely is a messenger, but the messenger is reversed. So it's like, oh, I thought I was getting it. It's interesting. This card, too, is like, you know, out on that post, kind of looking with the binoculars out in space. But it's like, you know, when it's reversed, it's kind of like, it's like kind of not seeing where things are going unless you really have to have those conversations of truth. I would say it's not a bad card, but it's definitely a card where it's not going to be easy to figure things out if you just lay back and expect things to just naturally figure themselves out. Our challenge that we got this week is the fire element of desire. Ooh, maybe that the hard questions, are there missing elements of desire here? Or that it's not fully there, not stimulated. Page of Swords reverse, too, is feeling very unstimulated. So I would say that this is like, why are there questions about desire? And where is the fire missing? And having to figure that out. And if that's something that can't be figured out, I mean, we're going to find out more in this reading. We'll see here. Our overall that we got for this week is the Five of Air, which, you know, would be the Five of Swords. In reversed. Overall, it's like, if you have to try too hard for something, for desire, for information, or to all this clarity, and you're not getting that desire, it's not worth the time or the energy at all. So this would be about what is it that's just not, where you have to like go this extra mile and go this, and I know relationships are all about, you know, like having to go that extra, but this is like where we usually don't have to go our extra, where we still have to find some sort of like passion, like where it's almost like, it almost kind of feels like maybe more friends than lovers, because that would be kind of something where it's like, there's no passion there, but we get along, you know? And how we get through that is our ritual. Have we created a ritual of the desire not being fully there and accepting something that's not fully there? I would say that we need to really look at the rituals that we're casting in our life with relationships and make sure we're not just taking on a new ritual of like, well, I'll accept that I don't have that desire. I'll accept I don't have that passion. Especially with Mars retrograde right now, like this would definitely not be a time to just be like, oh yeah, like the passion's kind of not there, so I'm okay with it. That's a wake-up call, and it's definitely a ritual we don't want to get stuck in. How we get through this Page of Swords, or why it came up, is the 8 of Pentacles in reversed. So the information that's missing, I would say, is the fact that I always look at the 8 of Pentacles as like a factory machine, like, you know, like something that's an oiled machine working and it's mastering it and knows how to build things. And when it's reversed, it's almost like I feel like there's a chain. Anything where the chain's broken in life of the relationship, or, you know, it's like there's constant, like, we have to fix this and we have to fix that. And we have to keep, well, you don't like this and I don't like that. This is not mastery at all. So I think this is more of a warning of what to stay away from this week. But a better way would be like, it should already be desirable. It should already not have to be hard to talk about things. It should be not, you don't have to change anything. Because this would be like mastery at its worst. Like, you know, like trying, because the 8 of Pentacles reverse would be like, I don't know how to make the pentacle, and I still am trying. The 8 of Pentacles shows it up on the totem pole usually. And how we get through this 5 of Swords in reverse is the 7 of Wands. Yeah, why would we fight for something and have the best position if we didn't want to put that much energy really in, and we would have to like overly put energy in, and then we would get to the top and not really want to defend the position. It's one thing to fight a battle, it's another to fight the battle and then sustain it. It reminds me of the Revolutionary War. There's that whole element of like, they had to fight battles, then they had to become and create a country, and then they had to fight themselves in many ways of like how the Constitution would be built, and sustain it and hold it down. That's like something that's worth fighting for, I guess. But it's like, if you're willing to not fight for something after you already put in a lot of work, and once you get there, you're like, I'm kind of over it now. Like, that's, you know, that's where it leads to when the passion's not there and you create that ritual and you're trying to fix something that's broken, and you know, it's like almost, this is a Page of Swords denial of it. Like, oh, well, I mean, it's not that desirable, but I'll take what I can get, and that's not mastering something great. And how we get through this is the shadow I am pulling as the overall. Downcasting pride. Something that we're not that prideful in. We're too afraid to really own it that much, or even show it off. It is Venus Leo. If you don't know how to show it off and be like, I want to fucking show this person off of my life, then what are you doing? That's always a test for any Leo energy, right? Like, if you don't want to walk down the red carpet or take pictures with that person and yada, 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 then you're not into it. 5th house, Taurus, Sun. Oh yeah, this is love that's the best only. Very simple. Quality. And even the physical attraction has to be just off the charts. So I would say that this is like, if it's not off the charts, and you're just like, fuck yeah, especially where the astrology is, and where these cards are saying, then you'd be fighting a battle that you would lose. Even if you feel like you're winning the battle now, when you win it, or get it to where you think you want it, you wouldn't probably want to hold on to it too long.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe we're focusing on the wrong issues. You know, we're looking at like some trivial bullshit that's just like super small. It doesn't really matter in the long run. You know, in the long game of this relationship that you're trying to be in, that you're trying to cultivate. You know, it's focusing on what's really matters, and I think it's really easy to kind of get like lost in translation almost, and just get lost in like the view of what's going on around us, and then we just we lose sight, we lose focus on what really matters. And I think that's important to hone in on that, what really matters to you and what really matters to your partner, so you can continue on this path. but don't get lost in it. You know, don't get blurred by the other bullshit that's swirling around inside your life. Just focus on you, focus on your partner, focus on the relationship. If it's going to work out, then it is, you know, then you're going to put in that effort. You know, if there's situations that are not working out for you and that you think that you can't fix, you know, and that there's a deal breaker for you, then that's one thing. But focus on that, on what's actually important to you.
Yeah, and that's the desire part. It's like,
yeah,
if the desire's really passionate in there, well, then you can talk about it easy, and there shouldn't be issues, and there shouldn't be anything. And I think that's the core challenge. And then, of course, the shadow was like a downcast pride, and there was the ritual. It's like, if the ritual is like, there's so much fucking desire, and oh my God, it's like off the charts, and it's like, fuck yeah. Somebody had said, let go to let in. It's like,
there you go.
Like, you could be blocking yourself here from the most amazing thing. If it doesn't feel off the charts and it feels like a constant 8 of Pentacles reversed, like, if it's just like, it's like, you know, you're slopping it together constantly and it's not off the charts, especially that Venus Leo, and I got that whole last card there that was like, hey, you want to be able to walk the red carpet with it. Not just kind of be like, oh, I'm going to downcast my pride here about it. It's not that prideful to have it. Like, I hate to say, pride I know is a 7th deadly sin, one of them, but I would say that actually is a Leo Sun, Leo Venus, Leo Rising, Leo Mercury, that pride in your lover and wanting to show it off is the only way you know that you're in love. People who don't post that shit, you can tell.